Barrington Tops is located about 3 to 4 hours north of Sydney in New South Wales, Australia. The area is rich in natural beauty and boasts some of the most extensive areas of subtropical rainforests in the world. There is both a national park and extensive state forests within the Barrington Tops Mountains, with the rainforest forming part of the Gondwana rainforest network that extends north towards Queensland. The geography and forests are so precious here that the national park is World Heritage listed. There are a lot of options for four-wheel driving and camping within both the national park and the government-owned and operated state forests. But regardless of your choice of camping destination, for most of the camping areas within Barrington, you're going to need a four-wheel drive to access them. We chose to camp at the Little Murray camping area, which is located within the national park and is accessible down a fairly rough four-wheel drive road and about 5 kilometres south of the main road that runs over the tops. Little Murray has about 6 different camping options in a clearing located next to a small creek. There is plenty of room to set up big and small tents alike, and camper trailers are also catered for, with soft grass, picnic areas and fireplaces provided by the park service. For some, hanging out and relaxing at the camping area is all that's necessary to have a great weekend, but we like to get out and explore. So given that the Barrington Tops area is so large, it's pretty easy to find some great places to visit. Our first spot to visit is a place called Junction Pools, which is about 8 kilometres from where we were camped. A few of our group elected to walk down to the pools, and walking in the area is a very popular activity. Another popular activity is mountain biking, and with the extensive road network within both the national park and also in the adjacent state forests, you can find terrain to suit all levels of experience. Of course, the most popular way to get around is in a car, and whilst there are many roads that are smooth and fast, the one down to Junction Pools is not one of them. Down at Junction Pools itself, we discovered the water to be extremely cold, despite the warm temperature of the day. It's easy to forget that Barrington Tops has an elevation of over 1,500 metres in places, and therefore can get very cold, especially in the winter when snow covers much of the higher sections. Junction Pools gets its name from the many pools of water, but also from the junction of the Barrington River with one of the smaller creeks that flow into the river. The pools are easily accessible from the road, and there's also a small camping area that overlooks the river. In the western section of Barrington is the Furs picnic area, a spooky, otherworld sort of place, and is a must visit. Just off the main road, it's the remaining few acres of a former pine plantation. Very little light penetrates the dense fir growth, and it's quite eerie, but provides a cool place to escape a hot day. Barrington Tops has a variety of four-wheel driving options, and there's a huge number of roads throughout the area. In the national park are many roads in various conditions that are often closed due to wet weather and snow. But when open, there are tracks for beginners through to the hardcore adventurer. The state forests in the Barrington Tops also have a lot to offer in terms of roads, tracks and trails. In some areas, the roads are smooth and flowing with a 60 km/h limit, whilst in other places you can find low-range, difficult tracks that will require some thought and inspection before venturing forward. Many of the tracks enable you to do scenic routes, starting on the main road and looping back to the same road at a point further along, with many great sightseeing opportunities along the way. There are many rivers that have their source within Barrington Tops. The beginning of the Manning River is only just off the main road through the park and is one of the main rivers in the area. The Manning flows all the way to the ocean from a height of 1,500 metres. There are a few interesting facts about the Manning. It's one of only a few rivers to get snowmelts in the spring, and that's not dammed at some point along its 261 kilometres to the coast. We crossed the Dil Green River a few hundred metres from its beginning, which is just near the start of the Manning River. But who can resist going back and having another go at a water crossing? There's nothing better than relaxing around a roaring fire when camping. And if the opportunity arises, cooking over the coals is the only way to experience an authentic Aussie bacon and eggs breakfast. A cool sunny morning in Barrington Tops really gets you enthusiastic about some more exploring, and that's what we'll be doing today. We're off again in our four-wheel drives and out to take in some more of the beauty of the area. Looking on the map, we've seen a number of creeks, waterfalls and lookouts, and we're off to check out what we can find. The roads that we're travelling on today are all very well maintained and typical of what you find in most state-run forestry areas. These roads make it easy for all types of sightseers, including those in soft roaders and all-wheel drive sedans. In fact, most two-wheel drives would find the going easy here. Our first stop is the Dil Green River, and we're looking for Dil Green Falls that's shown on our map. The bush in this area is extremely thick, and there's no obvious walking trails leading in the direction of the falls that are shown on the map. But we're making the most of our visit anyway and exploring the creek and surrounding water pools. Finding these waterfalls was proving to be a bit difficult. Our next stop would be at a crossing of the Manning River, and we could hear what sounded like a waterfall. With a bit of a walk upstream, we finally found something that looked more like what we were after. But we were convinced that there were a few more to be found. So heading over to the western side of the range, we soon found another waterfall just below Horse Swamp Campground. Unlike the previous rivers, the river here was flowing west into nearby Glenbourne Dam. Now that we've found a few of the water features, it's time to check out the lookouts within the park, and that means back in the car and back out to the main road. There are actually a number of places that give you a great view of the vast unexplored valleys in Barrington, and most of them are only a short walk off the main Barrington Tops road. So it was out of the car and on our feet in search of the best lookouts in the park. And it wasn't long before we had found the view that we had hoped for. Our time in Barrington Tops quickly came to an end, and after packing up and hitting the road for the journey home, we had one last opportunity to take in the views over the grazing land on the western side of the park. Well, thanks for joining us on our trip to Barrington Tops.